Our company has expanded in the operational areas, so I got a chance to visit the new places, which brings different experiences, bitter and sweet. In the expansion process, I, along with my colleague Samar, were sent to Sain, a district in the state of Bayar, to examine the progress made in setting up our company's branch office. Suain is a small city with not much development since Bayar is affected with Madost and Nalax activities from a long time. Its negative impact could be clearly seen. Start with richest of natural resources, but despite of that, slow development, poverty, lack of proper education, infrastructure and improper medical facilities have gripped it badly. Coming to the motive, we reached Swain on Saturday late evening. We had rooms pre-booked in the hotel, so we don't have to bother for that. After arriving to the hotel, we decided to explore the local market. I have forth putting that it was a small city, and we arrived late in the evening, so we could not roam there for much. Most of the stories most of the stores were already closed. We decided not to take our dinner from the hotel. Perhaps we both wanted to have a bite at our local uh, nearby gas station. After reaching to our satisfaction, we moved to our respective rooms. It would have been almost half past midnight when I heard that depressed scream. It wasn't that loud, but it was still audible to drag my attention towards it. I got up and decided to investigate the matter, but as soon as I got up from my bed, I heard a hard knock on my door. When I opened the door and snooped out, to my surprise, there was no one. The corridor was quite long, so it would be definitely hard for a person to play any sort of prank. I was about to turn and looked. I was about to turn and locked the door. I felt a light, cold rustle on my neck, and the room was filled with stench. From my past experiences, it did not take long for me to understand that it was an act of a ghost. So I went to my bed without getting disturbed, took out Human Chalisa, a Hindu hymn addressed to Lord Human. It is said that if you keep the Human Chalisa, it would ward off bad energies. Anyway, I put it under my pillow and went to sleep. I sleep sound that night. Now, the next morning, I, along with my colleague Samar, met in the dining hall for breakfast. While taking our breakfast, Samar asked me whether I had noticed something weird last night. Till now, I haven't said anything about what I had experienced the previous night. I replied, him being normal, that I haven't. He said that someone had knocked his door the previous night, and when he snooped out, he found nothing. But as soon as he closed the door and turned back, he found the windows wide open, which were locked earlier. He continued and said that despite turning off the AC, he spent the whole night shivering and cold. He said that he was not feeling well. Since this was my third consecutive tour with Samar, I interpreted the event to him and said that he might be tired of with the long tours, and since he was shivering last night with cold, he might have a fever. I told him that we would visit a doctor this afternoon. We spent our first half 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 a.m. monitoring it and ongoing at our branch office and provided our expense and amenities where it is obviously required. In the afternoon, we visited our local doctor, who, after examine, gave some pathology tests. After giving the required biological samples to the pathology, We spent 4 more hours at the new branch office, and after that I called it off for the day. We reached to the hotel by almost 9:15 p.m. We took our dinner and reached to our respected rooms. I decided to sleep early that night, so I prepared myself, prayed to God, and went to sleep. Soon I dozed off. While I sleep, I saw a dream. A dream which seems like very real, like everything was happening in front of me. In the dream, I saw a white chariot, which was decorated with white tuberose. The fragrance of the flower was spread all across the surrounding. In the centre of the chariot was a dead body of a man covered with white silk cloth. The chariot was escorted with men who also had white clothes from torso to the trunk. The whole surrounding was glossed with bright daylight. The men escorted the chariot were mourning, but despite of their mourning, there was a pin, a drop silence, and they had no expressions in their faces at all. I wasn't able to see the face of the dead man. One of them, who was leading the cavalcade, had hold of clay urn in his hand, which was filled with water, on which some rose petals were floating. Seeing all these, I got disturbed and got awaked immediately, completely poured in sweat. I started thinking, why have I seen that dream, and what is the connection of it with me? This was the second consecutive night when I had experienced something unnatural in that room. I checked the watch. To my surprise, the time was 12:33 a.m, almost the same time when I had heard the scream. At that point, I decided to leave that room. I contacted in reception to inquire whether if there is any room available. To my bad luck, there was no room available. So I had to stay for the rest of the night there. So I turned on the TV and somehow tried to sleep on the couch. I had slept for 3.5 hours when my phone rang. I was called by Samoa. He had a scary voice, as if he'd seen a ghost. I quickly went to his room and saw that he was really quite scared. I said what had happened to him. He replied that when he came out of the bathroom, he saw someone lying on the bed facing back to him. And when he questioned him that who are you and how you entered in the room, the person within a second dissolved into thin air like a mist. I asked him to wrap up his belongings as early as we are leaving the hotel right now. I went to my room, gathered all my stuff, but when I was rechecking that whether I had taken all my belongings or not, from my left corner I saw a creature with scarlet eyes. The figure of that creature could be compared with a large quadrupedal animal. It was something which I had never ever seen before. It was beyond anyone's imagination and was extremely horrific. We checked out from the hotel pretty early in that morning and booked another, which was 5 kilometers away from the previous hotel. My colleague Samoa webbed off from the middle of the tour due to illness or because he was too scared. I am leaving it to your sense of judgment. I survived the residual work in setting up our new branch office in the remaining next 2 days, and nothing extraordinary happened. Samu's lab test results were normal, and I wasn't surprised because I knew what had happened with him. But still, few things remained unexplained for me. The dream and that creature. It is extremely hard for anyone to guess what is hidden inside the womb of the paranormal world. I leave it to everybody out there to come to their own conclusions.